Hello, and welcome to the session on relative speed. As you know, this is a part of the bigger topic, time, speed, and distance. Please provide your feedback via Twitter. My Twitter handle is @ravihanda. Well, relative speed is not a new concept. It essentially talks about when two bodies are traveling, maybe towards each other or away from each other. They might be traveling in opposite direction, they might be traveling in the same direction. In case they are traveling in opposite direction, the relative speed is given by sum of the speeds, that is s1 plus s2. Whereas if they are traveling in the same direction, the relative speed is given by s1 minus s2. Now, it is also important to understand why these speeds are added up or why these speeds are subtracted. Let us think of it this way. Say the distance between two bodies is 100 kilometers and they are traveling in opposite directions with 20 kilometer per hour and 30 kilometer per hour. Then what will happen is after 1 hour, A would have traveled for 20 kilometers, B would have traveled for 30 kilometers, and the distance between them will now be 50 kilometers since they are moving towards each other, and hence we can say their relative speed is s1 plus s2 or 50 kilometers. Very similarly, if they were traveling in the same direction, then the relative speed will be the difference of the two values. Let us take a couple of examples to clarify this concept. Say, I've listed down two examples here. Let's say Sardar Khan went out of Wasipur at 10 a.m. at a speed of 50 km per hour. Ramadhir Singh finds out about it at 11 a.m. and sends his men immediately to kill Sardar Khan. Now, Ramadhir's men travel at a faster speed of 60 km per hour. It is very important that Ramadhir's men travel at a higher speed. Otherwise, they will never be able to catch Sardar Khan. The question is, what will be the distance between them 1 hour before they meet and at what time will they meet? So to start off, Sardar Khan is moving at a speed of 50 kilometers per hour. He started at 10 a.m. By the time Ramadhir Singh finds out about it, that is at 11 a.m., Sardar Khan would be 50 kilometers out of Wasipur. That is the distance between Sardar Khan and Ramadhir Singh's men at 11 a.m. Then what will happen? 1 hour later, that is at 12 o'clock, Sardar Khan would be 100 kilometers out of Wasipur. At 1 p.m., Sardar Khan would be 150 kilometers out of Wasipur, and the list goes on. Very similarly, for Ramadhir's men, at 11 a.m. is when they start moving. So at 11 a.m., Ramadhir's men start moving. At 12 a.m. or at 12 noon, Ramadhir's men would be 60 kilometers out of Wasipur. Please note, at 11 a.m., the distance between Ramadhir's men and Sardar Khan was 50 kilometers. At 12 noon, Sardar Khan is 100 kilometers out, Ramadhir's men are 60 kilometers out. So, the distance or the gap between them has now reduced to 40 kilometers. At 1 p.m. what would happen? Ramadhir's men would be 120 kilometers out of Wasipur, and in this case, now what is the gap at 1 p.m.? At 1 p.m. Sardar was 150 out, Ramadhir's men are 120 out, or the gap is 30 kilometers. So as you can see here, the point that I want to emphasize that the gap initially was 50 kilometers. In 1 hour, it became 40 kilometers. In another hour, it became 30 kilometers. So you can say that the gap between Sardar Khan and Ramadhir's men is reducing. Obviously, it has to reduce if they have to meet. Not only that, it is reducing at the rate of 10 kilometers per hour. See, from 50 kilometers, it became 40 kilometers, it became 30 kilometers at a gap of 1 hour. This figure of 10 kilometer per hour could also be obtained by another idea, and that is the idea of relative speed. Relative speed of Sardar Khan and Ramadhir's men is S1 minus S2, or the higher guy, that is 60 kilometer per hour, the faster guy, not the higher guy, 60 kilometer per hour minus 50 kilometer per hour, which is 10 kilometer per hour. To solve this question, what you could have done is, you could have continued this list of 11, 12, 1, 2 and so on. You would have continued the list for Ramadhir's men also, 11, 12, 1 and so on. And when the gap would have become 0 kilometer, that would have been your answer. Now, you know that the relative speed is 10 kilometers per hour. You can easily find out the time taken for Ramadhir's men to catch Sardar Khan will be, what was the gap between them initially? That was 50 kilometers. That gap is being covered at the rate of 10 kilometer per hour. So it will take them 5 hours to catch Sardar Khan. 5 hours from what time? We started at 11 a.m. or 10 a.m. Which time should I consider? We should consider 11 a.m. because that is the time when Ramadhir's men started moving. That is the time when the catching process essentially started. So what will happen is, they will meet at 5 hours from 11 a.m. or they will meet at 4 p.m. Once they meet at 4 p.m., they'll attack and God knows what will happen. Another part of the question was, what will be the distance between them 1 hour before they meet? Now, distance between them 1 hour before they meet is going to be nothing else but whatever is the relative speed. See, the gap must have been 10 kilometers 1 hour before they meet. Only then Ramadhir's men would have been able to catch Sardar Khan. So that is the idea of relative speed. That is the idea when two bodies are moving in the same direction. The body which was behind was moving at a faster rate of 60 km per hour. The body which was ahead was slower. It was moving at the rate of 50 kilometers per hour. Having a follow-up question to this is, Sardar Khan survives the attack and heads back to Wasipur for revenge with a speed of 50 km per hour. Ramadhir now sends his son JP to attack Sardar Khan. JP travels at a speed of 80 km per hour. Now you need to realize that both of them are moving in the same direction. The first thing that you need to figure out is the distance between them when they start moving towards each other. Now, how do you figure out this distance? Well, this journey or this part starts at 4 p.m. Till 4 p.m., how much distance would have Sardar Khan travelled? Sardar Khan would have travelled for a total of, he started at 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. he would have travelled for a total of 6 hours at a speed of 50 km per hour. So he would have travelled for a total of 300 kilometers. Now, this 300 kilometers, what will happen at, what is the status at, let's say 5 p.m. At 5 p.m. Sardar Khan would have moved back 50 kilometers. At 5 p.m. JP would have moved ahead, or rather moved towards Sardar Khan 80 kilometers. So now at 5 p.m. the gap between them would have been reduced by 80 plus 50, or it would have been reduced by 130 kilometers. The new gap between them would be 300 minus this 130, or 270 kilometers. Very similarly, you can calculate the status at 6 p.m. Till 6 p.m., Sardar Khan would have moved back 100 kilometers because he has been traveling for 2 hours. Till 6 p.m., JP would have moved ahead or moved towards Sardar Khan 160 kilometers. Gap between them would be out of 300. 100 is covered by Sardar Khan, 160 is covered by JP, or 260 has been covered, and only 40 kilometers remain. So if you wanted to find out the time when they will meet, all you needed to do was the total distance between them divided by the relative speed. They are essentially covering 130 kilometers every hour towards each other. So the relative speed is 130 kilometers per hour, which you can easily figure out is nothing else but the sum of these speeds of 50 and 80. So essentially the time taken will be 30 by 13 hours, which roughly translates to 2 hours and a little bit extra. 2 hours and actually 4 by 13 hours extra over the 2 hours. So that is the time they are going to meet from 4 p.m. That is the idea when two bodies are moving in the opposite direction or they are moving towards each other. I hope this clarifies the concept of relative speed for you. Just to reiterate, relative speed in opposite direction is sum of the speeds in the same direction. It is the difference of the speeds. Please provide your feedback via Twitter at my Twitter handle @RaviHanda. Alternatively, you can also email me at my mail ID, which is ravihanda@gmail.com. Thank you.